So let's get started with the day one. So what is an API and how actually no, we are using API in our day-to-day life. So I'll give you one very basic example. Okay, so suppose that one good morning, right? So you just woke up and you want to make your favorite coffee or tea. So that is the start of our day, right? So you and we know, like, what are the ingredients we need for making our coffee or tea, right? So basically the milk, sugar, right? The coffee powder, tea powder, or maybe hot water, right? So and after waking up in the morning and you came to know that one important ingredient, right? The sugar is missing. Okay, so since sugar is missing, now how we can actually fulfill that requirement, right? So it's early morning, maybe 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, depending on the time you are waking up, and no, you will be started thinking like, okay, no, from where do I get this, very quickly, and fulfill my requirement, right? So let me give you some ideas, right? So now how we can actually get it. The first option, quickest option can be, you can ask your neighbor, right? So we always do that, in the urgent time, like we'll go to their home and we'll ask, okay, this is there. If it is there, just get it from there, right? So that is the first option, or maybe the quickest option, right? To get the things moving. And if that option doesn't work, right, so I'll tell you the consequences, of each option I'm telling. So suppose that that option is not there and you have maybe another option, and that can be now you can just open your phone and order in, take a grocery app and or place an order basically, right? So yeah, placing an order take little longer time, right? But yeah, benefit is like you can actually select from the options. Now if I go back to the first option, right? So suppose I decided, no, I want to take it from my neighbor, right? So what exactly I need, to use this option, right? So first of all, I have to communicate my requirement to my neighbor in a manner he or she understands it, right? So suppose I know only English and my neighbor knows only Hindi, obviously that option will not work for me, right? uh, First thing is like we have to establish a common channel to make that communication happen smoothly, right? So we if we both understand the same language, then the first step we can achieve, right? So first step we can achieve, and next step will be like I have to also tell him what I need, and I have to maybe provide something where he can or she can give me that amount of sugar to me, right? So maybe one small spoon or small container where they can actually give us the amount, right? So in a similar way, right? So if you see two applications wants to talk to each other, right? So I'm jumping from now this simple example to two no complex applications. Now if two complex applications wants to talk to each other, right? So see, applications are nothing but binaries, right? So this is like a machine for us. So when they once needs to talk to each other, we need a mechanism which they both understands, right? uh, if I'm explaining like I want a sugar to my neighbor, he or she should understand. Similar way, if I need something from another application, that application should understand what I need, right? So that is the role of protocol plays in APIs. Okay, so just keep it in your mind, like we need a common interface basically, right? So the application, both the applications can be software, you know maybe one is software, one is hardware, or they both can be hardware, right? And even if it is software also, the tech stack used to build that application can be different, right? One application can be Java based application, one can be a .NET based application. How to .NET and Java based application talk to each other, right? So obviously we need a common channel, common interface, and common language which we can leverage, right? So APIs needs that, right, to function properly. So if you see the uh, definition of API, it is nothing but like it is a application programming interface. So it gives us an interface to talk to another application. That's all. Now I'll come back to the first example again, so that we can set a context, more context here. Suppose you decided you want that sugar from a shop, right? So how you will do that? The one thing is, you call them, right? You call them, place an order, and then that things will be delivered to you. That is one option. Another option is you open an app and place your order, right? So when you open an app and place your order, you will get more options. Okay, so now you can actually select the available sugar brands in that shop. Okay, so if you're using the first option, right, so you're going to your neighbor's house and getting something, right? So you have to take whatever is available in that house, right? So you cannot give an option there, right? If that person is having the brand A of sugar, you cannot place, get a brand B of sugar from his house, right? So you have to take whatever is there. But now since you are using a mobile app, right, so you can place or you can select options, you can select the quantities, and maybe other things also, depends. Now your mobile app, right, so how your mobile app is actually communicating to the shop from where you are purchasing it, right? Now we get another channel now, right? So you are a consumer, okay, so who wants to consume some product, and there is a provider who is the owner of the shop, and we have a mobile app which facilitates that, right, the entire process. Now the shop can be anywhere in your location, right? So how the mobile app knows which where to connect basically, right? So in this case, the concept of server will come into picture, right? So there should be some server, because mobile app doesn't understand you know our language, right? So it has to connect to the server, it's in own language, right? Depending on the communication used in the implementation. So mobile app will send a request to the server, and it will tell the server, hey, this person wants sugar. Can you tell me, or can you list me the available sugar brands in this shop? So server will tell, yeah, these are the things available. Give it back to your consumer, right? So maybe five different brands are available, and each brand maybe in the different quantities, like maybe 250 gram and half kg or 1 kg, right? So all those options will be returned to the mobile app by the server. Okay, and you can see those options printed in your mobile app. And from the see, mobile app will give you only the user interface to interact, right? So as a consumer, you may not know where is your server is, right, and from where that content is getting delivered. Okay, so you will only know, okay, I have this shop has an app, and these are the inventory list in that shop, right? So you can select your requirement as per things displayed in the app, select it, make the payment. Again, when you make a payment, right, see, this is an app, and suppose you are the owner of the app, right? So it is not even he or she will think from a, business point of view, right? So what they need basically, right? They want to sell their product and they want to receive the money. If it is offline, it is little simple because the persons will go to the shop, buy the things and pay the money, right? But when it is online, again, you have to also give an option to your customers or to your consumers, like how they make payment, right? Now, in this case, the application has to talk to something like some other applications, right, to facilitate the payment also, because this is not only for the product, right? So you have to facilitate payments also. Now it may need to talk to any third party payment gateways, like you can give an option to make a bank payment or via UPI, right? Or it is an international store, maybe international transactions also you have to facilitate, right? So all those things you can provide via APIs. Now as a consumer, I selected the product, you know I want to make a payment. Okay, so I will use your integrated API gateways. Okay, I'll make the payment. Now tricky part here is, since payment is secure, right? So as a customer, I want to make sure my payment goes only to your payment, like the provider's account, right? So I don't want to lose my money. How you will make sure all this happens seamlessly, right? Now in that case, the provider, right? So when they purchase or get an application, build an application, right? So they have to make sure all the third party integrations are secure, right? And for that, right, all these payment gateways, they provide their APIs, right? You need to actually, if you see from a testing point of view, right, this entire use case, you have to also test the security point of view, the entire application, right? So your payment should be very secure, and once you make the payment, it should go only to the needed recipient, right? We'll come to that those points, like what are different areas of testing you'll be doing. But for time being, just visualize a big picture, right? So from where the APIs are actually coming into picture in real time. Okay, so this is again the example I'm actually providing you, right? It's very simple, right? So it's like very very basic thing, right? So it's just a simple maybe mobile app or a grocery app where you can purchase. Now let me tell you a little complicated, little bigger application. Let's see a again a business picture of it. Suppose that you are someone, you want to grow your business, you are actually into the sports business, maybe sports equipments you are selling, and you want to grow your business, right? And you want to you are looking for a targeted marketing space, right? You want to sell your product in a target where you know that that place has more persons who are using sports, and you can get more money, right? This is where the all the analytics platforms are actually now doing, right? So if you see Facebook or Meta, or if you see LinkedIn, or LinkedIn is professional, but Facebook is a good example here, or Twitter, right? Or Instagram, right? So everywhere you can see a lot of data, right? So uh, that is like an user data, right? We are giving our all our information to those social media platforms, like maybe WhatsApp, or Telegram also, right? So we are giving our data, right? So, and if you see Facebook, for example, like you can see World Cup is happening or Olympic is happening, right? People are tweeting about that. And somehow if we get access to that database, right? So that raw data, right? So from where the tweets are more, right? Which location, for example, basketball, right? I want to sell basketball equipments, basically all basketball related equipments, and I want to know which location people are more interested in basketball, right? So that I can facilitate more production in that location, and I can earn more money. Now maybe Facebook or Twitter, right? We can analyze the data and see the sentiment of people for basketball in so and so time period. The data will be huge, right? And you may need something kind of machine learning kind of algorithm, to get that data, analyze the data, and then create a report out of it, right? So okay, this location, this is the percentage, this location, this is the percentage, like that. They may not give you raw user data, but it will be like a consolidated information. And suppose I want to build my application top of it, right? So am I going to build Facebook from scratch or Twitter from scratch? Obviously not, right? So that is huge thing, and that is a very big application, right? How can I build again something like Facebook from scratch? Yeah, obviously if you have time, money, budget, you can do it, but that is not a practical idea, right? So how can I why should I build that from scratch? Those platforms provides APIs. Okay, so those platform provides APIs to consume that data, right? So for any third party applications who wants to build something on top of it, now you can relate the business angle of APIs, right? So with all this, so for example, Twitter can huh, open it, call papa. So now you can see on the business angle of it, and you can see like, okay, so suppose assume that Twitter is giving you that data, that information, and you can actually build something like a maybe your data pipeline, which will use streaming, and then create those data, clean that data, and then provide a report for you. So half of your work is already done by Twitter, and you can focus only the needed things for your business. So you will pay Twitter based on APIs, right? I'll come to that point, like the payment point, right? So in this case, obviously you will earn money, but Twitter also needs some money, right? Because Twitter is actually giving you access to the raw data, right? So, and they will not give it free, because this is their users data, right? How the business model will work here? Now if you want to use Twitter APIs, Facebook APIs, uh, or Spotify APIs, beyond some limit they will charge you. Okay, and this is where people how people makes money using APIs. It will be based on maybe number of calls, per day limit, or per month limit, based on the plan you are purchasing. So they will charge you, and as per the consumption you can pay them. right? Hope you are able to understand the business model here. Now we know,
Yes.
like, uh, any questions so far, please, feel free to ask. Feel free to interrupt me at any time, because you need to understand these points, because when you test, right, so the API, so you have to also consider all this, like your business model, your security, performance. Now again, performance also come into picture right here. And third party integration, for example, right? So suppose you have integrated a Twitter here, Twitter APIs, right? And you are testing your application. Now suppose you are using an ape Twitter API, and without even telling you, Twitter has changed the API definition. What will be the impact on your application, right? So your maybe existing code will break, right? Your existing test will break, right, without any notice. So we don't want that kind of situation to happen. Okay, so that's where the contract testing will come into detail, part, all those things, very detailed. You will also write some contract test. So we need to make sure, like, when we are using some APIs, the contract should not be broken without notifying the consumer side, right? Okay. Uh, Now we know, what is an API, okay, how the entire thing works, okay, and the business value it brings to the table. If you see in my slide, you can see, no, all this, like, car, maybe your enterprise application, your web application, your gaming application, right? TV, then your smart devices, everything are interconnected, right? So those are using some APIs, and APIs are connecting to a server or a broker, which can actually help them to connect to the corresponding server and get the response back. Okay. So APIs are set of requirements, as I told, how one application can talk to another, right? And it is actually what APIs are what make it possible to move information between programs, right? You can actually pass messages from one program to another program. So API clearly defines, right, how a program will interact with the rest of the software.